Hi, this is Patrick Ness, and I am here today on Luna's Little Library, and I'm going to be talking about The Rest of Us Just Live Here, which I am now pointing at, in case you couldn't see it, in this vast frame of many, many objects. This is the book I'm going to be talking about. Luna has sent me some questions, and I'm going to be answering them right now. Gosh, if I could achieve something with my writing, if I could achieve something with my writing, what I want it to be, I would, honestly, all I ever wanted was to just hold a book that I wrote in my hand as a published book. That's all I ever really wanted. And my first book, which was called The Crash of Hennington, which is very obscure, has not been widely read, let's put it that way. The day came and the box of books came, and I opened it up and there were, 8 copies of this hardcover of my book with my name on it, and the pages, in the right shape, and the layout of the pages correct, and the cover and the sleeve, and God, that was it. That was amazing. I didn't care that it didn't sell particularly well. I mean, although it led on to all this, but that day was amazing, and that day is still amazing. Every time a new book comes out, that's the most amazing day. So everything after that is just cake, basically. That's what I really, really wanted. Differences between US and UKYA. Well, I mean, the world is changing, don't you think? I mean, the boundaries between things like that are not as strict as they used to be, with internet, with discussions on social media, with the way that books reach across the ocean. I mean, think of how Harry Potter reached across the ocean, and think of how something like Hunger Games reached back. I mean, I think the world of YA is slightly different than simply a national boundary. I mean, of course, the different countries, of course, they have different amalgamations of cultures coming together and flowing against one another and mingling and creating new stuff. But I think the world is a bigger conversation than that. And I think that's what I'm going to say about that. I think, sure, there are differences, but they're becoming less important day by day because both sides just want interesting stuff. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. My most surreal experience was I did my very first live television interview ever. This was several years ago, just after Knife came out in Wellington, New Zealand, and it was on Good Morning New Zealand, which is exactly what it sounds like. It was like every good morning show in the world was live, and I went on, and I was really proud about doing my first live television interview, national television interview for New Zealand. Although I learned a few things. I learned that you should always straighten out your shirt before you sit down, and you should always lower your chin, which I'm trying to do now, because otherwise it looks like you're looking down on them. But I did this, and I was really proud of it, and I was really, really happy. And then I was followed, and this is literally true, I was followed by a woman who was demonstrating a new kind of mop for the floor. So I thought, yeah, maybe they invite all kinds of people onto Good Morning New Zealand. Maybe it's a small country and they're just kind of working through everybody. So that was surreal. I was followed by a mop. I wish people would ask if I wanted donuts more often, because nobody gives me enough donuts. Nobody really even ever gives me donuts. I would like donuts. I think reading lists in school are important things. I mean, you have to learn the rules if you want to break them, is what I always say. And true, sometimes there's always the thing about, dissecting a joke is like dissecting a frog. You learn a lot about the frog, but at the end the frog is very dead. But I've never really had that experience of discussing a book so much that it died, because I think books are stronger than that. And I think analyzing a book you might never have picked up, is more important than the risk of maybe killing it a little, because I don't think it really can. And I read some awful stuff in school, just awful. I read a book called Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance that was just horrible, but it didn't stop me from reading, because that's the thing. A reading list for school, it's just a reading list for school. It's not everything you're going to read. It's not everything you can read. It's only some of your reading. So I'm for them, but I'm for them the more daring they are. You know, giving you stuff that you wouldn't otherwise, you know, be exposed to, and you know, from wildly different voices from men and women and people from different cultures. I think that's what a reading list should be like. Your parents say, with straight faces, they say that they don't have a favorite among their children. They say we love them all the same, and they are liars, because they all absolutely have a favorite one. I know I am not the favorite one of the four of us, of my family. The same is true of books. I get asked a lot about what's my favorite book, but I love them all the same. Lying. No, that's not true. I do love them. I love them all in different ways. I mean, I love the way Knife goes like a rocket. I've never been able to replicate that. You know, I don't know why that happened. I love the way Monsters and Men brings everything together. I love the experience of A Monster Calls, which is unique. I love The Rest of Us Just Live Here, because I got a chance to try to be sort of funny sometimes, and I love them all for different reasons. So I'm not gonna say, but I'm also not the most favorite child.